The hold of Ogia opened up and Calypso rose gently from the resting position. The clearance from the sides of the hold was minimal, but the computers accurately controlled this part of the sequence. Calypso was pushed gently out of the hold, and then Galileo released the ship from its moorings. It was now on the way to the surface. The ship automatically altered its attitude as part of the launch procedures, and from then on was under Galileo's complete control. Most of the flight to the surface would be computer assisted. All the decisions were his, and he'd have to deal with any unexpected issues in the flight down. He first needed to accelerate the ship slightly to complete an additional orbit of the planet, at the same time as decreasing the altitude to get the correct angle of attack when entering Hope's atmosphere. Calypso was well protected against the heat of re-entry, lightning strikes and other atmospheric conditions, and whilst the final touchdown was finally controlled, it was that area of the landing which was now the most likely to provide the greatest risk to him. After a little while, he was starting to feel the minor perturbations of Calypso's entry into the atmosphere. Thankfully, due to Calypso's design and slower re-entry speed, he wasn't subjected to the violent forces that dogged earlier spaceships. As Calypso now moved into the lower levels of the atmosphere, he was surprised how blue the sky was. Being totally immersed in blue was something he'd never experienced before. Galileo had seen images of films of Earth's atmosphere. It didn't convey the way the colour bathed the entire planet, almost like an ocean of air. Galileo wondered how many more unexpected new images and experiences he would come across in the next couple of days. He mustn't though let those experiences distract him, as there were likely to be many dangers once he made landfall. The computer now showed him that the weather over his target land area and flight path were mostly clear, except for a light rain shower some 30 kilometers from the landing zone. As he was on his approach, he could see a small cloud bank that was framed by the two suns and a single moon. Whilst the suns were above the cloud, the moon was barely visible, just peeking above the horizon. Now that he was on the final approach to the landing site, Galileo took over more of the flight controls from the onboard computer system. His velocity had slowed to below that of the speed of sound. He hoped that any sonic boom produced by Calypso's approach would be muffled and possibly confused by the sound of distant thunder. Galileo now could see the landing site up ahead, and he prepared for the rolling stop that was Calypso's primary landing method. The rolling stop involved landing the vessel at a speed of 100 km per hour, using controls to slow the vessel gently down, much like a traditional aircraft landing. The Calypso was designed to cope with a rough surface and still cruise to a halt. It was also designed so that if the surface was too rough, the undercarriage would detach, bringing Calypso up short. Galileo checked that his straps were as tight and secure as they could be in case he had a rough landing. The light ahead was glistening off the grains of sand as he vectored into land. Galileo was using local landmarks as reference points to position Calypso accurately at the start of the landing zone.